Inside the Magic Kingdom, the sun shone brightly. Finn's costume warmed up. He thought the air smelled like Thanksgiving. It took him a minute to spot the turkey leg being gnawed on by a big man wearing a Hard Rock Cafe shirt. The 6 kids and Wayne passed into the park through a high wooden fence, with Thunder Mountain to their right, past the ride and through another door marked for cast members. They entered a room with dull green walls. They saw an elevator door scratched and in need of paint, with a single arrow pointing down. A large sign bolted to the cinder block wall above the adjacent set of descending stairs cautioned cast members only, please.
I'll go first. Girls, you'll follow me to food service. Terrence, you know what you're looking for. Good luck, everyone.
Finn felt his throat catch. There was only one reason Wayne could be doing this so soon on the heels of the previous night. It isn't safe. They had to accomplish this before Maleficent regained all her powers. Though Finn wondered what would become of them if she already had, Wayne's white head bobbed down the stairs, followed closely by Charlene and Willa. The boys heard a heavy door open and close. Then silence. Finn's throat was bone dry. His palms were sweating. Maybeck went first. He descended the stairs, suddenly consumed by a shadow. Again, the sound of the door opening and falling shut. That door swallowed his friends. He hoped he'd see them again. Philby went next. Finn then worked his way down and hand on the door reminded himself to stay calm. He tugged in the door and opened it to a strange, unfamiliar world. They found themselves in a tunnel that ran a great distance in both directions. People in Disney costumes walked in groups while the battery-operated vehicles piled the corridors. The Utilidor was physically much wider, much bigger, enormous, really, than Finn had thought it would be. An underground road of sorts with doors leading from it. Actors dressed as non-human animated Disney characters like Mickey and Minnie and Donald Duck paraded past, wearing or carrying a mask large enough to cover their whole head. There were others dressed as human characters, wearing makeup but without masks. Belle and Snow White, Peter Pan and Mulan. The walk-arounds they were called. A small electric truck zoomed past, stacked high with cans of soda and bottled water. Finn looked to see Charlene and Willa headed in the same direction the truck was going. He followed a short distance behind Philby, who in turn followed Maybeck. The boys were now moving in the opposite direction from the girls. Overhead along the tunnel ceiling, thick cables and pipes hung. No Disney music played down here. Instead, the boys only heard the whine of vehicles, the steady whoosh of piped-in air, and the gentle murmurs of voices. Finn passed a girl with Cinderella's hair and face, but she wore blue jeans and a tank top, not yet in costume. The boys walked briskly for well over 5 minutes before finally coming to another tunnel. Maybeck followed the signs as Wayne had told him. The new tunnel gradually sloped down, leveled out, and ran another 50 yards before climbing again. Then it dead-ended at yet another busy tunnel. Finn followed to the right, Philby and Maybeck just ahead. Offices and unidentified rooms lined the route. It was extremely busy down here, with people coming and going like worker bees. Finn caught a glimpse of a cafeteria. He passed signs for the property room, a barber shop, and a woman's hair salon. A city. The tunnel veered left. Philby and Maybeck slowed and pretended to read from a bulletin board.
It's just up ahead. The timing is critical because a coffee break is coming up. Wayne thinks our best shot at getting in there is during the coffee break.
Finn took a sip from a water fountain, stealing a look down the hall. They waited. A few minutes later, 3 workers, 2 men and a woman, left the door marked Control Room. The boys approached the door and entered. Inside, they faced row after row of steel shelving, like bookshelves in a library, floor to ceiling. Instead of books, the shelves were lined with thousands of tiny blinking lights. Red, yellow, and orange. Rack-mounted computers. It was chilly in here. Maybeck hurried down to the second to last row.
Wayne's point is that no one will notice Maleficent's cold aura in a cold place like this. He said that the servers are back in the room.
Sure enough, they stood facing several steel doors, all unmarked. Finn stepped forward and touched the back of his hand to each door in succession. The middle door was noticeably colder. Finn wondered for how many years, how many decades, Maleficent had been confined to the Magic Kingdom. It seemed no wonder she turned to the dark side of her powers.
How do we do this?
I don't think we knock.
Actually, maybe we do. Have either of you ever run track?
Maybeck nodded.
How about the relay?
Again, Maybeck nodded.
Drivers, start your engines.
He pulled the boys into a three-way huddle and told them his plan.
Knock knock. It's your favorite Disney host interactive.
Finn kept one eye on the wall clock. The coffee break was scheduled to last 15 minutes. 6 of those minutes had passed. No answer. 7 minutes gone now. 8 minutes remaining.
I've come here to offer you a deal.
Spines of ice crept up the edges of the closed door. Finn could picture the witch standing just on the other side. His knees felt weak, but he had to go through with this. He raised his voice.
We're through. We're done. Wayne, he's an old guy who sent us here to steal something from you, but we've had a change of heart. We want to destroy the server, the computer that generates our DHIs. We don't want to do this anymore. We don't know which one it is. We don't know what to do. You help us without hurting us, and we'll give you the pens.
The doorknob went white with frost. She was holding from the other side.
You're thinking this is a trap, and you're right to think that, but it isn't. We just want to go home. We want to sleep at night. Please, help us, and you'll have what you want.
The doorknob turned. Maleficent stood in the doorway. She had not fully recovered from Finn's zapping the night before. She looked older, slightly yellow in the cheeks. Behind her, on a stack of more computers, Finn saw the scroll of plans she had stolen from him at One Man's Dream. Finn and Maybeck backed up a step. Philby was nowhere to be seen.
Which server?
And we need whatever backup server they have as well. Once we're gone, we don't want them able to bring us back.
Maleficent glared at them, with her eyelids lowered menacingly. She was either half dead or ready to kill.
I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't know.
Finn realized he zapped a good deal of the power from her. He drained her. She was like a battery running out of juice. She said nothing, just stood there, blinking, looking devilish. She gathered her strength.
You're lucky that Jez likes you, or I would have hurt you last night when I had the chance.
That's comforting to know. I'll put down the pens. You can have it. But first you'll show us the right server.
First, the pins. You think I trust you like that?
And why should I trust you?
This is your idea, not mine. Besides, once I have the pin, what threat are you?
Finn concealed his smirk as he shrugged.
Have it your way.
He withdrew the groups of pens and pencils from his pockets and placed them on the ground. Maleficent approached them like a kid nearing a Christmas tree. She seemed to have more energy. Her eyes flared open in expectation. Finn took several more steps backwards. Maybeck right next to him. But behind Maleficent, the door to the back room swung slowly away from the wall, and there stood Philby. In his right hand, Philby clutched a fistful of pens and pencils tightly. Maleficent bent toward the pens on the floor, clearly cautious. But as she drew closer, she saw modern brand names on the pens. She looked up through fury eyes.
Now.
Philby charged from behind and did just as Finn told him. Holding the pens extended, he drove his fist into the witch. At that same moment, she turned around. A blinding flash erupted as the pens made contact. Maleficent rose from the floor and was thrown violently past Finn and Maybeck and into the heavy black shelves. Maybeck sprinted forward into the back room, grabbed the roll of the plans, and headed for the main door. Philby, stunned by what he'd done, passed the pens to Finn, leaving behind on the floor the pens the boys had collected from a desk at the front of the control room. Philby was next out the door.
What's going on here?
A big man blocked Finn's exit. Just then, a shower of sparks and spurts of flame rose from where Maleficent laid pinned to the computer shelves, impaled onto the stack of electrical outlets and surge suppressors. As the electricity flowed through her body beneath the smoke and spitting sparks, Finn saw her skin color return to a rich green. The electricity fed her.
What is that?
Maleficent's bloodshot eyes flashed open and locked onto Finn. He'd never seen eyes so angry, so mean and vicious, so powerful. And they were aimed at him, only at him. The office manager staggered toward a fire extinguisher hanging from the wall.
I need that!
Finn made it for the door. Maleficent pulled herself loose from the metal shelving as a shower of sparks cascaded overhead.